Welcome back to another episode of Decoded, the Lost Codex podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'm the writer, director, and narrator for the Lost Codex episodes, guys, and it has been a little bit since we've done this, since we've done a Decoded podcast. I do apologize because in my absence, in my post-BlizzCon absence, I got sick hard. I don't know if it was the con cred, because it wasn't right after BlizzCon, but maybe it sat dormant. Maybe it was lurking for a while. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks today, I had a little bit of an itch in my throat. I thought, okay, this is okay. It's not gonna be bad. And it was awful. It was actually horrible. And I don't get sick badly very often, but this was bad. Started off with a sore throat, and felt like I was swallowing just razor blades for days. Finally, it went away. Head felt it was like congested and weighed 1,000 pounds. Had a horrible cough to the point where my breath was being taken out of me. I tried to record some stuff, and I was like physically out of breath. And sore throat came back in that same sickness, and this is day 14, and I'm still not 100%. We're better. Getting better. I'd say we're about 85 to 90 mark. Still have a very booming cough. So I will lean away from the microphone when I have to cough. But yeah, I'm back. Sorry that there's been no Decoded episodes or Lost Codex episodes or anything. For those of you who watch our channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/Lost Codex Lore, this is being recorded live now. Obviously, those who are watching on Twitch now. But for those of you who don't watch this live, I'm going to be streaming, try to stream for every day of December. So far, we are December 5th, 2018. And I am 5 streams in, so I've kept my word so far, and we're gonna see how long that lasts, because we want to make some changes for the Lost Codex, and we want to get that Twitch partnership, so we got to put in the effort. But I am back. Sickness is on its way out. I'm still extremely burdened by BlizzCon blues. That is real. And for those listening who've never been to BlizzCon, you might be sitting there rolling your eyes like, what a baby. Like, come on, the convention's over, get over it. But those of you who've been to BlizzCon, you know what the BlizzCon blues are. They hit hard afterwards. And if you're one who gets swamped by seasonal depression in December, November, December after BlizzCon sucks. So to all those out there who are suffering the BlizzCon blues, I hear you. I understand. I feel your pain. Good news is we are 11 months away from BlizzCon 2019, but we're not talking about that today. I went one podcast without talking about BlizzCon. Not even. So, no, my record's broke. We'll try next week without mentioning BlizzCon. But we are back, and there's no news to talk about. I'm going to just dive right into the podcast because we have 8.1 to talk about. We are going to be talking about all the stuff coming in. What day is it? Today is Wednesday. So a week today. Europe, you're getting 8.1 a week today. North America, we are getting 8.1 a week yesterday. And we're going to have so much to do, so much to talk about, so much fun stuff. And, in before the first comment, more friends are awful and they're not fixing my class. Well, you know what? No matter what, I like going to the Blizzard forum posts, not the forum posts, the blog posts, and seeing, all this information come out, and then the top post, instantly negative. No matter what comes out, it's automatically, or on Twitter, here's the new blog post for the new transmog sets coming out, and the first comment is something horrible, and it's like, no one is ever happy. But today, we are going to be happy, we're going to be positive, and we're going to talk about 8.1, and if you're here to not enjoy 8.1, or you've unsubbed, because I know a lot of people have unsubbed, maybe this podcast will convince you, or maybe you'll just leave another comment, compare the Lost Codex to Taliesin and Evitil level of shill, which we got last week on the last podcast, and what a compliment that was. That made me laugh out loud. So thank you to that. A lot of people did not like the Lost podcast because I basically said don't treat the Diablo team like shit. You can be disappointed, just don't be assholes, and apparently that's not allowed. So today we're not going to be talking about Diablo, we're going to talk about 8.1, and if you've unsubbed for Battle for Azeroth for whatever number of reasons, because there are some issues out there, I talked about a little bit about that on Brutal Statics podcast the other day, which, by the way, is out, I believe. So you guys should definitely go check out Brutal Statics podcast. Links down in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. That was a really fun hour and a half. And at the very end, I got to talk a little bit about all the negativity in game and in the community right now. And yeah, it was podcast number 3 for him. So go check him out. Go listen. But listen to this one first, because you're already here. So why leave? Or, break it up. So we're going to talk about 8.1 right away. But before we do that, I haven't actually had a chance to talk about the Terror of Darkshore cinematic. Now, I did record my reaction at BlizzCon. I had to discreetly, without being obnoxious, record my reaction at BlizzCon, watching it on a computer from my phone camera. It's awful. You don't really see much reaction because of the angle. I tried. So we're just going to watch it today. I'm not going to give any big shocking reaction because I know what happens, and we're just going to talk a little bit about it. And for those of you who are listening to the audio version, you are going to hear the entire Terror of Darkshore cinematic. So I would skip forward. If you don't want to hear it, skip forward maybe about 4 minutes or so. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about all the Warfront stuff going on in the background of the patch. So if you guys have seen the Terror of Darkshore cinematic and you are here watching live and you don't want to see it again, A, what's wrong with you? But B, you can go get a water break, go do whatever you got to do. And I'm gonna play the cinematic. And should I mute my audio? No, I'm not gonna mute my audio. I'll turn down my microphone a little bit so you guys can hear Nathanos. Spoilers. Talk about stuff.
All of it?
The entire shipment, down to the last sack of grain. This one's the only survivor.
One Sunday, do not take me yet.
What happened?
We were bringing supplies to the war front, just like all the other times.
Pick up the pace! We got to get these supplies to our soldiers by dawn!
On a troll. Blasphemy. It does look dope, so I remember that.
What is it?
Tell her. We are coming.
One Sunday, do not take me yet.
He expects us to believe this tale. No single night elf could do all that.
I know one who could.
Microphone was a little bit low, sorry. That owl glare, though. Music, music.
We will hold this ground for the Horde.
Oh my lord, the chills. Ha. Good gravy. Good golly, as Alex Afrasiabi would say. Good golly. I'm crying. Not actually. I'm scared because when I play my horde character, how cool would it be if there's just like if there was a 2% chance when you're going through Darkshore and you're questing that Malfurion just instant kills you, kind of like Deathwing from Cataclysm just shows up and kills you. Just a 2% chance that a bear jumps out and one-shots you. Oh my lord. Let's turn up my mic volume a little bit here. That was exciting. That was so good. So good. Terror of Darkshore, guys. People wanted a Night Elf response to Teldrassil. And here's the thing. A little bit of a side tangent. Very quick. People want the World of Warcraft story to be a Game of Thrones episode, right? A big, long, cinematic tale where you only have to wait a week for the next bit. And actually, people don't even want that. People don't even like that. Time-gated content is literally the devil's work to some people. God forbid they put everything on the first day and then you complete it within the first 2 hours and then go right to the forums that there's nothing to do. Time-gated content, especially when it's story-related, stuff like that, I don't mind that. It spaces it out a little bit. And it makes the story seem longer. It made it seem like the march through Darkshore, before the Horde burned Teldrassil, seemed like it was a little bit of a longer campaign. Now, story-wise, that didn't actually make sense, but it felt like it when you're doing game mechanics-wise, right? So, people wanted a Night Elf response. Teldrassil burns, the pre-books come out from the Collector's Edition, Christy Golden's Alliance version and Robert Brooks' Horde version. And, we saw the Night Elves being awesome in those tales, with the guerrilla-style warfare, the hit-and-run tactics, stealth stuff, but the Horde their massive war machine just overwhelmed the Horde completely. And we saw how scary Malfurion was in that Horde version. We saw there was that scene where Malfurion's standing on the banks of a river and he's just out of sight, and the Horde can see his antlers, and they're scared. That's the Malfurion people wanted. But again, in game, we didn't see that. We saw him, spamming the Wrath ability, and then he gets an axe in the back against Sylvanas, and Tyrande shows up to save him. And people wanted, why did Tyrande abandon her people? And of course, people asked that before the book came out, or the short story rather. She hearths back to Stormwind. And when she comes running into the Mage Tower to take that portal to Darnassus, because she knows the Horde's on their way, the portal closes, and she's, what's going on? The last thing she knew was the Horde was getting ready to invade the tree. She didn't abandon her people. She was making sure her husband, who, I don't know, Saurfang could have A, thrown a knife, B, thrown a throwing hatchet. No, let's throw my giant two-handed... How did that even work? A, how did Malfurion not get chopped into two pieces? And B... Damn, boy, you gotta be strong to throw a massive battle axe like that. Like, he just pulled a full-on Gimli. And my arm! I laughed out loud when I saw it in game, because it was so ridiculous. Saurfang running in and throw emote, and then this giant axe. It's like, oh, that was not expected. Anything, literally, like the bottom of the axe to the back of the head, anything, instead of throwing the axe would have been a better choice. And I thought maybe that was just a gameplay design. No, in the books it was he threw the axe, which is just as funny. I think he threw the axe. Anyway, people wanted that Night Elf response. Why did Tyrande abandon her people? Why was there no retaliation? Where were the guards? If you read the books, the guards, the armies of the Night Elves, there's two answers. Half of them were directed to Silithus. That was the whole point of marching to the Barrens, and at the last second going northwest. Directions are hard. Northwest instead of down to Silithus, where the Alliance thought the Night Elves were going. So half the army was redirected to intercept the Horde army that was on its way to Silithus. The other half was butchered in the Ashenvale assault. Rogues all around the forest positioned themselves at every single outpost, and all at once started slashing throats of all the sentinels and all the guards. It was supposed to be an instant slaughter. Every post was supposed to fall at the same time. Most of them did. A couple of them survived, which is why the Night Elves were able to put up a fight. But a lot of guards, the war machines came rampaging through. Druids were everywhere, but eventually the Druid numbers were dropping. The Sentinel numbers were dropping. Then you get to Darkshore. There's more death there. Malfurion holding off as long as he can. And then the attack on Lord Donnell, Sarfang, killing the Night Elf warriors and the Sentinels, because it made sense. They were soldiers, and Hellscream actually mentions back in Warcraft 3, like he compliments the Night Elves, going, "Damn, these ladies are some fine warriors." He was A-okay with acknowledging how vicious the Night Elves were, but then Sarfang says, "Don't kill the civilians." But where was the Night Elf? Where were the guards? Well, there were no guards in Teldrassil. That's what makes Teldrassil so much more worse. I like to get into conversations about, what are your thoughts on the burning of Teldrassil? And every now and then you'll have that traditional Horde player, right? Like, fuck yeah, man, like, screw the Alliance. I love, that was so cool burning the tree, screw the Night Elves. And I'm like, did you read the book? No. I'm like, you do realize that it was just, like, men, women, and children, no guards, right? Like, well, no, there's always casualties of war, but there were soldiers. No, there were like maybe 4 soldiers left. It was literally just a tree full of burning children and women and men, merchants, fishermen. Oh, I didn't know that. And so if you haven't read the books, obviously it's a little bit too late to say spoilers. Go read the damn novels. The I keep calling them books, novels, short stories, whatever they are. Go read them. They provide so much more context. But those who died were killed in the assault or redirected. And those who were redirected, why didn't they respawn right away? Well, the whole zone is gone. The tree's on fire. The Horde is everywhere. They can't launch an instant assault. And that's what happens in 8.1. People wanted that response to happen instantly, like in the launch patch. Let the story unfold. This is literally the next chapter. Chapter 1, 8.0. Chapter 2, 8.1. Does that make sense? And there's some people who were mad that the Night Elves didn't respond right away. And my rebuttal is, they are responding right away. World of Warcraft's not a form of media that has instant storytelling. So if you're upset with something, wait and see how it plays out. If it gets to the end of that storyline and you're still unsatisfied, fine, you're allowed to be upset. No one says you can't. But let the story play out as a game story should, right? When you read one of Christy Golden's books, you can go to the next chapter right away. World of Warcraft chapter is a little bit different. It makes you wait. Time gated, both in-game, but also for the development cycle to happen. Anyway, so 8.1 happens. And the Night Elves are attacking. There's going to be a little cutscene for the Alliance where we see Tyrande talking to Anduin and asking for help. And he basically, a little bit of spoilers, says, no, like, this is not the time. And I don't think that's the wrong thing to say, because there's the battle going on in Arathi, which is a huge war front. Stromgarde has been retaken. We still don't know who won canonically. I'm still going to say it was the Alliance who won canonically. There's the storyline in Kultiris going on with all the threats there, and finally bringing Kultiris into the fold. And the Alliance is preparing to attack Zuldazar. They've done their war campaign. Reconnaissance has been done. They're literally getting ready to invade the oldest city in the world. Anduin can't distribute his forces anymore. And Tyrande has every right to be upset. She says, stuff, backs off, the Horde player,